Hello, and welcome to the history you never saw coming. I'm Anne Lafferty, and I'll be reading from my book, Let All Who Read This Book Be Warned. To review a bit here, on Monday we discussed the creation story in the Bible, Adam and Eve, in depth. We determined that allegories or myths have a core of truth, but they are constructed to be passed on to future generations without a lot of detail. The myth we addressed in Monday's reading was that of a talking snake in a garden and a forbidden fruit. As mentioned, myths which have a core of truth are couched in symbols. We dissected that myth, and my conclusion was probably not what you have heard in the Christian church if you attended one. It took me some time to come to this conclusion, and there has been some backlash concerning my thoughts. However, you will see as we continue with this book that the conclusion I hold resonates down through the history of Israel and, in fact, the USA today. A creature approached the woman Eve in the garden, a cultivated place serving as a temple, the Garden of Eden, as you have heard. This individual is designated a snake or a diviner. A diviner is one who has access to unknown secrets. This visitor is also then a snake reptilian, which we hear much about online and on podcasts, featuring people who have somehow encountered these strange beings. What happened in Eden? We determined that it was probably a seduction of the woman, Eve, and possibly her husband, Adam. The reason for the seduction becomes clear as we examine future biblical events. Some of these seem fantastic, but the motives are clear: the corruption of a bloodline. We will see as we move on in this book that there is a serious conflict over earth and the universe. There was war in heaven, as scripture relates. Over what? Oh, we'll find out. What did the Watchers, the angels who interfered on earth, offer to mankind? Maybe you've never heard of them. Advancement, enlightenment, and ultimately bondage, as we will shortly read. This is possibly how the previous world fell into evil and corruption. What did the Watchers do? They took wives of human women. This was a corruption of the bloodline that was to eventually bear a Messiah. We may note that there have been many so-called saviors throughout history. I wonder why the need. The mystery schools of hidden knowledge today declare the fruit of the tree of knowledge to be the main symbol of gnosis, explaining all the secrets of the pre-Adamic civilization, which was a knowledge of every hidden thing. Seduction, betrayal, and sexual perversion is a hidden thing even today. The first couple gained insight into themselves, a primary desire of the initiated in all esoteric religions, and saw that they were naked. This is a very interesting phrase describing the results of all license. To return to the surface model, they were ashamed of themselves. This is significant. Nowhere does any ancient writing indicate that the corruptors of the previous worlds felt shame for any of their rebellion. The Almighty acknowledged that the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. This begs the question of whether knowing evil meant performing evil. How does this apply to the Creator and the heavenly crowd with whom he was discussing the problem? All angelic beings were given access to the heavenly courts, even the adversary, as the book of Job indicates. Job says, the angels presented themselves before the Lord amidst the heavenly courts, and God asked Satan, where do you come from? Satan answered with aplomb, from roaming through the earth. In other words, he was getting a handle on earthly affairs. So perhaps the word us indicates some of the heavenly characters knew both good and evil very well. Albert Pike, in his Morals and Dogma, described the illuminated one like this: Lucifer the light bearer, strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning, is it he who bears the light, and with its splendors intolerable blinds feeble, sensual, or selfish souls? Doubt it not. That's pretty highbrow. After the Adam and Eve debacle, the Creator told Satan, because you've done this, I will put enmity, that means anger, between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. He was declaring the end right from the beginning. This is the prophecy from the first 1,000 years of creation, a fitting beginning, don't you think? Friday we will continue with this story, and remember, never lose your ambition to think.